Hey math kids, today we're going to talk about how to solve a system of equations. And there's a quick note on this that r squared equals x squared plus y squared is the general form of a circle centered at the origin. The only reason I bring that up is some of these equations that we're going to be using in these systems are actually going to be circles. Okay. Now we're gonna figure out the solution. We're gonna do 3 problems on this video, and we're gonna figure out the solution algebraically and graphically, and we'll just go from there. Okay, so the first one we have, that's terrible. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so 5 equals x squared plus y squared, and then y equals 3x. Okay, so this one I would use substitution because the bottom's already solved for y. So I'm going to take 3x, I'm going to plug it into this one for y because y equals 3x, so I can replace y with 3x. So now I get 5 equals x squared plus 3x squared. Alright, so I simplify this. I square the 3, square the x, so I end up with 9x squared plus x squared equals 5. Combine these like terms, so that is 5 equals 10x squared. 1x squared, 9x squared makes 10. We divide by 10, divide by 10. 5 over 10 is 1/2. Then these 10's cancel, so that's just x squared. And then the final step on the algebra for this part is square root both sides. So we get plus or minus the square root of 1/2 equals x. Okay, so we ended up with 2 different answers. So we actually need to figure out both of those. So that means it's going to cross in 2 places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my final answer down here. Okay. So these are both x values. So I have the square root of 1/2. And then I have the negative square root of 1/2. Okay, I'm going to plug both of these in. I'm trying to figure out what color I haven't used. Let's do white. So I'm going to plug each of these in one at a time because I have the positive square root of 1/2 and the negative square root of 1/2. So if I plug it in here, I get y equals 3 times the square root of 1/2, which is just 3 square root of 1/2. Okay. And then if I plug in negative, so 3 times the negative square root of 1/2, that's just going to be negative 3 square root of 1/2, or negative 3 square root of 1/2. Alright, so that's how we would solve that one algebraically. Now, to help compare it to a graph, we're going to get a decimal. So I'm going to go to the calculator. I'm going to type these in. So we have square root of 0.5, which is 0.707. Then we have 3 times that answer. So we just need to times that by 3. We get 2.12. Okay, this one is the same as this, just negative. So negative 0.707. This is the same as that one, so negative 2.12. Alright, so we go to Desmos, and we're going to graph. So 5 equals x squared plus y squared. We got our circle. See, let's pull it over there. Then we have a line, y equals 3x. Okay, so good news is we crossed 2 different places. And if you look at these numbers, 0.707 and 2.12, that's exactly what we had written in orange right there. And then if we look at the other one, it's the same point, but just both things are negative. And that's what we saw. So graphically, it's just where they cross each other. So these two black dots, not this one, this is the center of the circle. And that's all we need to worry about on that one. So we're going to move on to the next problem.